Hey there, Internet. Welcome to the Hard On Gear channel, where I discuss and review my used and abused knives and gear. And we're back with another episode of Knife of the Week. The Knife of the Week is not any particular winner of a certain category other than the knife that I used the most during the past week of EDC use, bushcraft, work stuff, whatever I got into. And this week was pretty chill. I just kind of got back on base after 3 weeks Christmas leave, so I ended up carrying these knives. I swapped out the Manix 2 lightweight for the Cold Steel 8015 just to give it some pocket time. It's been a while. It's a pretty big, thick knife, so it's a little bit hard if I'm going to be doing any rucking, hiking, even just kind of kneeling and getting up and down off the ground a lot. Big old thick thighs plus this knife equals bit of mobility issues, but haven't been doing anything too crazy lately, so I figured it was a good chance to try this guy out for a while. The Toor Anaconda, as pretty much always, sitting on my hip and keeping this guy in that same position as the last few months on my left hand, my primary draw side, reverse grip, 9 o'clock position. Carrying that knife mostly because it's my baby and I want to keep it on me if I can. However, the main fixed blade I've been carrying the last week is the Topsmell Spie Elite. Swapped out the SE Azula 2 and given this one a go again for a little bit, but it's normally this or the Azula 2 on my right side. Handle down, 3 o'clock position on my offhand. That handle down position makes it extremely accessible underneath my shirt and above my belt. Looks pretty inconspicuous too because it doesn't really look like anything, especially with most of the clothing I wear. That handle and desert tan material kind of blends in pretty well. Didn't really use this guy too much this last week though. This thing's pretty much there for any kind of hard use, prying, twisting, batoning, stuff like that, but I never really got around to it. Although you got to be careful batoning with these tops a little bit. Not really careful, but just be aware that the tops of these tops knives are a little bit softer on the Rockwell hardness scale. So if you're batoning with any like dense metal, like any carbon steel, you're probably going to dent the knife. If you're using wood, not a big deal. That's there for that kind of stuff. And then the Leatherman, just kind of there for anything else I might need it for. And this is going to get swapped out this week because the last month or so, haven't really needed the pliers like I had to before when I was working in a little bit more of a merchandise canteen setting, which was kind of a weird tasking to have on the army base for a few months, but that came in handy there, just doing random stuff. Gonna be swapping that out this next coming week for the Victorinox Pioneer X. Know a few fans of the Sacks will be happy to see these guys coming back into play. I'm sure I gotta get another Sack or two in my life at some point in the near future, but yeah, this week we had these four with the addition of the lightweight Manix 2 popping into my pocket whenever I was doing anything in shorts or sweatpants, or actually even in jeans a few times I was wearing this guy. It's definitely a little more lightweight. This guy is just a little too big and aggressive for certain sweatpants or shorts, as it sort of drags down, sags, and swings around like a pendulum, and just looks a little ridiculous, let alone the lack of just, I don't say comfort, but it's not optimal, and this little guy fits a lot better. So these were the 5 knives that got action this week. I thought Topsmell Spie Elite, of course, in this sheath here. The typical top steel spring clip here. And which one's the knife of the week? That's the big question, isn't it? So, fixed blade or folder, multi-tool. Definitely not the multi-tool this week. The lightweight Manix 2, still got lots of pocket time for a knife that wasn't supposed to be in my pocket this week, but we're not going to take that one this week because it actually didn't get the most use, because one of these knives, the 8015, actually got used. I'd say probably 9 out of 10 times I needed a knife because I haven't used this one in a bit, and I love this freaking knife. Unique scorpion lock design from Andrew Demko, designer of the Cold Steel Triad lock. The 8015 is one of my favorite knives. It is a knife that as soon as I got it in my hands, I just knew that it fit my hand so perfect, and I love this knife and carry it for a very long time and use it for a long time, and I just haven't had the chance, again, because of the lack of, say, thigh mobility in the pants that I'm currently wearing, the issued stuff maybe not being the most perfect in the stretch department. This thing hasn't been used at all the last year, barely at all. So nice to see the 8015 getting some pocket time again. It is a lovely knife that I'm probably not keeping on camera like I wanted to, but there it is in its glory, knife of the week. So like I mentioned, a few of these knives will be getting swapped out. You'll see this still on my side, most likely, because, well, why not? The tops, maybe, maybe not. I'm thinking about maybe going with a dangle carry fixed blade for the next little bit, just to try one out for a while. Maybe yeah, I don't know. We'll see you next week. Check out next week's knife of the week and see what I end up using for that one. But just a little bit of a spoiler, I might try something I've never tried since the dawn of this channel anyways, which is neck knifing. I've messed around with it before throughout the years, and I'm not a fan. In Canada, you risk the concealed carry type thing, although I'm kind of risking that with other knives anyway. So let's just see what happens. And while I'm on base, it's not like I'm going to be the only weirdo carrying knives in weird places that look a little self-defense-y, even if they're not. So yeah, the cold steel bird and trout. Yes, bird and game. No, I always want to mix those freaking names up, bird and trout and game and fish and whatever. But this is the bird and game. There's the trout and fish or whatever the smaller one is. But this little cheap cold steel, cheap / affordable $30, $40 knife in Aus 8. Really cool, really light, and very neck knifeable. So we'll see if that makes it onto my neck and on my body next week. And let you know what else we do for knives in my pocket and on my body when we do that video. Probably going to be shorter than this one because this might be the longest knife of the week yet. But a bit of a fun week, a lot of changes coming up, a lot of new knives that I haven't used in a while. And got to get ready to do the next upload for tomorrow's Monday weekly upload. So check that one out. See you on that one or the next one. Hard on Gear channel, signing off.